continue with something very interesting. Now we're going to have the start pitches. So this is going to be a session presented by Marimer Perez Cisneros from the Yield Lab Latam. She's a principal. This is a fund that focuses on agtech and food tech, but she's going to be presenting 9 companies that are doing very exciting things across the board in terms of climate tech. So without further notice, please greet Marimer.
Thank you, Gabriel. If everyone can take your seat, please. We're going to have a presentation of companies now from across Latin America. For those of you who doesn't know me, as you can see there, I'm Marimer Perez Cisneros from the Yield Lab Latam, a venture capital focused in agri-food tech in Latin America, investing in early stage startups. We're going to have some companies presenting us about biotech, sustainable cities, smart cities, circular economy, and other verticals. We really hope that you're going to enjoy this as much as we do. We selected the best startups in the region for you. They are going to be presenting for 5 minutes. I know it's a brief moment, but after these presentations, we're going to have a break, and you will be able to talk to all the founders. So you won't have time for questions right now, but they are going to all be here for the networking session and for the break after this. So without further ado, let's welcome Franco from Satellites on Fire. He's from Argentina.
So hi everyone. It's a pleasure to give the welcome to this space of pitches. I'm Franco. I'm the CEO of Satellites on Fire, that we started in 2020 after witnessing family friends losing their homes to wildfires in Argentina. We wanted to do something about it, and we spoke with hundreds of people who work on a daily basis with wildfires to get to know the problem more deeply. And we saw that the key to stop a fire propagation and to reduce the losses generated by wildfires is to detect them early, and organizations are noticing them too late. And that's why we created Satellites on Fire, which is a wildfire early alert system using satellites, ground-based cameras in towers of detection, and AI. And let's see the testimonial of Julio Simon, who is a forest consultant, and mentioned that what's great about our system is the early alert, that the app refreshes every 10 minutes, while with NASA's system, the most used system in Latin America, the fire can take several hours or even days in appearing. So what do we do different? There are companies in Europe that are launching satellites to detect fires. There are companies in the US, South Africa, Chile, which are installing cameras to the same purpose. And what we do is we combine both technologies, but on a software-based strategy, where we are able to scale fast and be 100% focused on our AI algorithms. And that enabled us to grow. We are nowadays with more than 25,000 users among 15 countries of Latin America. We raised $700,000 of investment and funding. We signed a contract with the National Firefighters Council of Argentina and implemented the system in the whole country. And we are also working with the biggest forestry companies in Latin America. And nowadays, in Satellites on Fire, 100 wildfires are being validated every month through our system. Talking about the market, there are 284 million hectares of commercial forest in the world, and $30 per hectare per year are being invested in forest fire protection, which gives us a market of 8.5 billion. But this is without taking into account native forests, like for example, national parks, which amount to 4 billion hectares. And also without taking into account the agricultural fields that also are prone to wildfires, and also without taking into account the governments, which are also potential customers for us. We provide a freemium B2B and B2G SaaS model where we charge monthly and annual subscriptions for our alert system to organizations like forestry companies, carbon projects, government, where they receive WhatsApp messages indicating the initial stages of a wildfire in their areas. so they can tackle it in time and save their forests. We are a team of 13 people who work for NASA, who work for the European Space Agency, people who were mayors in national parks, leading the fire management team, people that participated in international Olympiads of informatics, and people who were shortlisted as one of the best 40 innovators globally. We have investors that are from Latin America, Europe, and the US, which helps us in every area of our startup. Like, for example, Techstars, the MIT, Green Climate Fund, Mercy Corps Ventures, and Draper Cygnus, among others. And we are committed to being the leading tech company in forest protection. We closed our pre-seed round of funding 4 months ago, and nowadays we are looking in this event for potential investors for future rounds. We are looking for corporate responsibility areas to implement impact projects, and we are looking for forest organizations to implement our systems. And we plan for the next year to have the best and the fastest wildfire satellite detection on the market, reach $500,000 in annual recurring revenue, and raised our pre-seed round of funding. So let's use the power of technology to protect our communities and our planet. Thank you.
Thank you, Franco. Well, we hope you enjoy Franco's presentation. And now we have Michelle Gombrov, a circular economy startup from Peru. So Michelle, if you can come to the stage, and she's going to be talking about her company, Circula.
Hi everybody, I'm Michelle. I'm co-founder and CEO of Circula. I'm from Peru, and you may have heard that we have the best gastronomy in the world, which can be controversial to say here in Mexico, but we actually do. Gastronomy is a very big part of our culture and our economy, and this is why we created Circula, a platform that is helping reduce food waste for restaurants and stores in the region. So you may have heard that a third of all food in the world is wasted, but just in Latin America, 127 million tons of food are wasted each year. But what many people don't know is that food waste is responsible for around 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions. And we focus on the consumer and distribution segment, which represents almost 50% of food waste. And this can be a pain to restaurants and stores because they can end up wasting up to 20% of the production. And if they would implement a food waste solution, they could increase their profit margins by 6%. So this is why Circula is created. Circula is a platform that allows restaurants and stores to reduce food waste. Instead of throwing their surplus quality food, they can now sell it through Circula. This way, consumers eat delicious food at a great price, business can recover costs, and we all help the environment. And we work as a marketplace between consumers and stores. Consumers can download the app and discover products with over 40% discount. They can buy and pay directly in the app, and they can pick it up from the store or choose delivery. Stores can sign up and set up their hours. They can publish their surplus products in real time, and they can receive orders from a new traffic of clients. And over $97 billion of food are wasted in the region, which translates into an accessible market for us of over $500 million. And our business model is that we charge stores a fee per transaction of around 25% and consumers a flat fee per order of 20 cents of dollars. So with around 6,000 stores, we can have a revenue of over $10 million. We already have market penetration in Lima, Peru, with over 500 stores. We've been growing 10% month over month, and we've been able to rescue over 260,000 products from being wasted, which is equivalent to over 170,000 kilograms of CO2 emissions avoided. We also have, as a confirmed pipeline, two major large chains, which are Tambo and Rockies, that have over 400 additional stores for us, and represents a revenue of $500,000 as well for next year. And we are part of a global trend in a market that already has success cases in Europe and in the US, and is beginning to penetrate the region due to the great necessity. We differentiate ourselves by consolidating in underserved and emerging markets, such as the Andean region, and to gain faster market penetration and consolidate our market presence. And we have been able to do this thanks to our team, We are a team with previous experience in successful startups in Lima that had exits and that wanted to bring sustainability to an industry that is so close to us as Peruvians. We're also backed by impact investors in Peru, Ecuador, and Norway. Right now, we're finishing our consolidation in Peru with our corporate deals. We already have the base team for this, and we're very close to reaching our break-even as well. And with that, we can begin regional expansion to Ecuador. We're raising a 450,000 bridge round, and we already have 25% committed. So we invite you to be part of helping one of the most important industries in the region become more sustainable.
Thank you, Michelle. We now have Fernando. He's from Argentina and his company from Bolivia. He's going to be presenting Suyana. So welcome, Fernando.
Hey everyone, I'd like to thank the organizers, especially Thales Capital and Deloitte. I'm Fernando, I'm the co-founder and CTO of Suyana. Suyana means hope in Quechua. We provide parametric climate insurance against extreme weather events such as droughts, floods, and storm surges using satellites. Our solution is embedded in bank loans, so that's the way we scale up the distribution of insurance. There are a lot of investors in this room, so let me tell you about 4 arbitrages that we're doing in climate insurance. So the first arbitrage is insurance as carry trade. You guys all know what carry trade is. It's moving capital from low yield to high yield regions of the world. We're tackling the enormous challenge of trying to insure hundreds of billions of dollars that are lost to extreme climate events every year in the world. Most of this is not insured. Traditional solutions require human assessors. Our solution is purely automated. And as a result, the market is reaching its limits. Some insurance companies are backing out from places like California and Florida and other regions in the world. Our solution can fill in that gap. We provide a solution that is more affordable and more reliable than traditional solutions. And as a result, we perform something that's akin to carry trade. So instead of moving capital from low-yielding regions in the world to high-yielding regions in the world and getting a fee, we move capital from states where dollars are valued less to states when they are valued more, which is the aftermath of an extreme flood, for example. $1 after a flood is worth many, many times more than $1 in good times. And in that arbitrage, we get a fee. The second arbitrage is standing on the shoulders of giants. The explosion in the number of satellites that have been launched to orbit and the resolution of global climate models has increased by many, many times during the last decade. We're standing on the shoulders of these giants to exploit the wealth of climate data to create proprietary machine learning models that allow us to model the peril with extreme granularity and also the exposure, which is the value of assets and GDP flows that are lost to extreme climate events. As a result, we have 400 times more precision than alternative solutions. This is a drought example where we can price exactly each pixel of a soybean producer. And as a result, we do not have adverse selection, which is the main problem in insurance. Every customer is priced according to his own risk. And also the second benefit is that we can serve the whole market. No one is being left out because everyone has a different premium. The third arbitrage is embedded insurance. We are selling a novel, innovative product. Not every customer understands it. So what we do, the trick here is to distribute the product through existing trust relationships that already exist between banks and clients. So every time that a client goes to a bank and gets a loan, our product in Bolivia is for farmers. They get a credit for the summer crop. The bank says, okay, I'll give you 500K, but you will get the Suyana drought insurance. And this is the trick to scale up. We are working with the second largest, we're launching a product with the second largest bank in Bolivia. Fourth and final arbitrage. I have good news for you. The Fed just lowered the Fed funds rate 2 hours ago by 50 basis points, so cheers to that. So do you know who does not care at all about the Federal Reserve? The weather. So the hurricane, the drought, rainfall, they do not care about the Federal Reserve. And as a result, Suyana is placed in this unique position to originate an asset class that is completely uncorrelated to the markets. Every well-diversified portfolio should have a little bit of bonds, treasuries, equities, commodities, etc., but also a little bit of climate risk. So as we scale up, we'll issue these climate-linked securities and lower our internal costs of getting reinsurance, which right now is the most expensive part of insurance. Here you see the zero beta between the S&P 500 and drought trends or any other weather trend that you would like to see. We're launching a product as we speak in Bolivia and Peru for the second largest bank in Bolivia and the government of Peru. We have very ambitious goals. After we go to the market, we need to get to 10 million ARR by 2026. The company was born out of Harvard. When I was completing my PhD in economics, I met my co-founder, who's from Bolivia. That's why we're launching in Bolivia. We are accompanied by a great team of mentors and climate scientists, data scientists, and insurance people with more than 30 years of experience, which also invested in our companies. In our company, we raised roughly 300K between grants and angels, and we're backed by many prestigious institutions such as UNICEF and Housing Foundation. So if you saw anything in this presentation that sparked your interest, please talk to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Fernando. As you can see, most of the entrepreneurs here are currently raising a round. So please, investors, take note so you can reach out to them after these presentations. And now let's welcome Alejandro. He's from Colombia, from a circular economy company that he will be presenting today, Muta.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start with two questions. Who thinks recycling is good for our planet? Who can guarantee that that can or plastic that you sorted really entered the circular economy and is not contaminated our ecosystems? No one, right? That is one of the problems Muta is solving. Even though we're generating 2.1 billion tons of waste annually, we're only recycling 14%, having the opportunity to recycle 90% of this waste. Governments, corporations, and communities all agree that we have to transfer to a circular economy, but we're not doing sufficient effort to do this. This is because the recycling industry lacks of innovation, traceability, formalization, and technology to be able to incorporate all the actors in the supply chain. That's why, with my co-founder, I took the decision, after 8 years in the recycling industry, to found a company called Muta, focused in a recycling asset-light company to revolutionize the recycling industry with technology, innovation, and sustainable practices. We developed a software that orchestrates the whole and the entire process in the recycling supply chain, having a recycling company and giving visibility to all the actors in the supply chain. To the generators, we put a product where they can request the collection, have their environmental certificates, and understand the traceability of what they are sorting. Then, for the operations team of that recycling company, we put it as smart routing that with AI learns the amount of waste each generator is generating and give smart routes to those before street waste pickers that now operate like an Uber collector in our platform. They go collect the materials and bring it to a warehouse where we sort, we have an inventory, and then we sell these recyclable materials to traders or processors. And these traders or processors, we give them a product where they can receive this material with the whole traceability from where it was generated and the data of when it was collected. That's why in 2023, with that business model of buying to the generators and selling to the traders or the processors, we had a revenue of $4 million, incorporating more than 4 million kilograms into the circular economy, having 1,775 monthly active users, and growing at 47% compared to 2022. But in 2024, we saw a global opportunity with our software and our solution. We had a visit on one of the biggest oil and gas companies that produces biodiesel and SAF, sustainable aviation fuel, where they saw that our software was able to make the traceability of all their supply chain in all the world. And we understood that the recycling industry communicates like this: WhatsApp, emails, Google Drive, calls, inefficient,
no traceability, and has a big and high informality, not only in emerging markets, but also in the whole world. That's why we offer a solution that for all the actors in this supply chain, they are digitalized, ensuring efficiency, traceability, and data integrity. That's why our vertical SaaS has a model that integrates a network of recycling companies, traders, and producers, offering them a product where they can have all their operations and all their supply of recyclable raw materials. Our software as a service is a pay-as-you-go. The producers and traders, we charge them $1 per ton and a $500 license fee. And for the recycling companies, we charge them $5 per ton trace and a $500 annual fee. In the last 3 months, we have been able to have 6 users with 0 investment in marketing and already have 2 pilots with large CPGs because the extended producer responsibility are making them that all the packages they are putting in the market, they have to ensure the traceability and that certain percentage of it is entering the circular economy. So our data is also being really important for these large CPGs. That's why in 2024, we'll be closing with 30,000 tons reincorporated in the circular economy with these users that we have worldwide. We'll be opening Mexico in the next 2 months and the United States in the next part of the year. Providing technology is what we have understood after being a recycling company, after being in this industry, and it's providing technology to everyone that collects, traces, tracks all the recyclable materials, such as electronics, plastics, cardboard, greases, oils, metals, glass, among others. Understanding of that 14% that we talked earlier, that 14% is 294 million tons of recyclable material that can be incorporated in the circular economy. And it has a potential to recover 4x these volumes. Our forecast in 2028 will be having a revenue of $100 million, incorporating 3,500 recycling companies in our platform, 100 traders, and 30 transformers to trace 11 million tons and having an EBITDA around 45%. All of this has been possible because of the diverse team that we have. My co-founder, Estefania Bello, has 10 years in investment banking and also was part of 2 M&As on waste management. So she understands the huge opportunity we have in this industry. Jeffrey Saavedra, head of software, comes from Microsoft, data scientist and full stack developer, has been the one that has developed all our software since day one. Ruben Aleman, 50 years of experience in this industry, understanding the pain points of a recycling company, of a trader, and of a processor. And Susana Mesa comes from Rappi, leading the growth team and also being the chief revenue officer of a B2B SaaS like Bossy. That's how we are driving a technological revolution in the recycling industry, looking for a more sustainable future. We invite you to join Muta and be part of this global transformation. And my eco-anxiety is to eliminate waste with Muta. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandro. Now we're going to have a company in a very different vertical. This is a Mexican-Colombian company in the SaaS industry. Let's welcome Melina Cruz from Maki.
Hi everyone, my name is Melina and I'm co-founder and CEO of Maki. And together with Sebastián and Andres, we decided to join our years of experience in building edtech, fintech, and marketplace startups just to deliver a software solution for one of the most polluting industry, the global textile industry, that is losing millions every single year. More than 6% of materials are lost during the transformation process due to tech pack errors. And since companies have low visibility over the production processes and they want to avoid out-of-stock situations that can impact more than 4% the yearly income they have, they tend to make an overproduction from 5 to 15%. By the end of the season, if the garments are not sold, they're either going to throw them away or burn them. And among these factors, combined with the results of not having enough transparency in the supply chain, the cost of producing a garment can increase from 15 to 21%. That's why we decided to create Maki, a software ecosystem that basically streamlines all the supply chain in the apparel industry, from discovering new suppliers up until the way of making the quality control of those suppliers. Let me tell you a little bit of how the industry works. You have a huge company like Cueros Vélez in Colombia, one of our customers, that outsource its production to different type of workshops. Typically, they're gonna outsource it to full packages. These full packages are companies that are in charge of delivering the whole process, from designing to packaging the full garment. But also, these full packages are outsourcing some stages of the production. So imagine you are a huge brand without actually knowing where your production is, in which stage is, with which supplier is, and also you need to have certainty because that production has to be on your store for next month. That's what we decided to create a whole system of building blocks of information. So you can have traceability of your current orders. You can also have instant messaging with your suppliers just to understand the issues they are facing on a daily basis. You can also find and discover new suppliers in order for you to increase your capacity of production. You can connect your teams of quality control. You can also have a better way or an efficient way to allocate the orders with the different suppliers you are currently working with. And finally, you're going to be able to also pay to the suppliers within the same platform. So it doesn't matter if you are a brand and you want to start using Maki on a SaaS model where you can use the traceability for your current orders, your current suppliers, or if what you need is actually to increase the number of suppliers you are working with and use our tool where we are scoring different suppliers and manufacturers. In the end, without need of one or other, you're going to connect all your suppliers into one platform. And it's actually the brand who's always paying for the service of Maki. Why they are paying is because they love what we're delivering. So basically what we are giving them is access to real-time data over their production. And with this, they are being able to lower the costs and the delay of the production, even making the lead time reduce up to 15% for a company. Also, with the workshops, what we want them is to become allies of Maki. What they'll have access is to best practices and technology that it's going to help them to understand their installed capacity, but also to sell the unused capacity they're having. The impact we're doing is basically by making the whole process more transparent and having processes more sustainable. So you're going to be optimizing the capacity and reducing overproduction, but also we're going to give you as a brand an offer of different type of suppliers that can be certified in more efficient process and more sustainable processes. And lastly, minimizing the waste of this industry. The industry where we're playing, it's huge. It worth more than $1.7 trillion. And if we're talking only about LATAM, it's worth more than $80 billion. A little bit on the numbers, we managed to track more than 400K garments in August, which are worth more than 21.6 million annually. Out of those 21.6 millions, 302K were already produced through Maki. So we are already connecting suppliers and allowing them to increase the revenue they are having. But our vision is way much more bigger. So we have already become the primary workflow of information between the different actors in the industry. We already also have proven that we can connect brands with new suppliers and with more efficient suppliers. In the end, we also want to embed fintech solutions in order for the brands to be able to pay in a one-stop solution of software to the different suppliers in the supply chain. And that's why also our monetization strategy goes by layers. It depends on which module or which block of information the company is using. It's the percentage that we're going to take out of the GMV or the value of the clothes that we are giving traceability to. So if you guys want to know more about how this industry can become more efficient or more about Maki, what we're doing, what we're building, I'll be more than happy to share more information with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Melina. We now have another circular economy company. Let's welcome Dylan Roman from Mexico presenting New.
Today, critical minerals matter more than ever. There are practically no electric vehicles without lithium, and there are no renewables without copper. The technologies that we so urgently need rely on critical minerals, which are scarce. And not only are they scarce, during the pandemic became also very clear that the supply of these critical minerals is neither safe nor environmentally sound. The United States, through the Inflation Reduction Act, is promoting that 65% of the materials in new batteries come from recycled sources by 2025. That's next year. Recognizing this issue, the United Nations commissioned me and my team to identify viable business models that ensure the supply of critical minerals from electronic waste. Today, the largest e-waste recyclers from Europe and from the US trust our scheme and have ordered 1,000 tons of batteries in the case of redwood materials and 300 tons of PCBs in the case of Hensel Recycling. Our solution is an AI-powered platform for optimizing the e-waste recycling and reuse processes. So how does it work? In a double-sided demand-driven market with huge information asymmetries, we have large e-waste generators on one side and green technology companies on the other. So we connect the largest e-waste generators with the dismantling plants and the aggregators through an ESG scheme. We then enable these plants with our AI sorting technology to classify the materials based on their precious metal content. And we connect the sorted materials with the refineries that can extract metals like lithium, cobalt, gold, and platinum. With the information that we generate, we can provide full transparency of where these materials are coming from. The benefits are substantial. 100% traceability of critical minerals, shorter payment cycles between refineries and aggregators and dismantling plants, and an increased productivity at the machine-human interaction. Our computer vision technology is based on a proprietary dataset and model assemblage, and it allows for the early recognition of critical minerals in the most heterogeneous components. This promotes positive network effects and ensures the quality of the materials that go through our platform. We have now in Mexico the largest e-waste generators, and we can connect their post-industrial e-waste with the refineries that can extract these metals. Our team of data scientists, metallurgists, and engineers has now been trusted by SOSV to build a global marketplace of secondary critical minerals. We are generating revenues from the trading as well as from the software business. And by 2027, the software licenses will surpass the trading business. We are currently raising a $1.5 billion round with which we want to achieve three main items. Proof of execution excellence of transboundary movement of hazardous materials, proof of sourcing and profitability at large, and proof that the external companies use our technology to sort their materials. As we stand at the forefront of the digital revolution, New is not just redefining how e-waste management works. We are revolutionizing how we view and value electronic waste. We invite you to connect with us and let's make New a global leader for responsible supply chain. Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan. We now have an energy company where he's going to be presenting, Andrés Muñoz from Mexico, and he's going to be presenting about Energreen.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Andrés Muñoz. I am the CEO of Energreen. My company, Energreen, has focused to achieve access in water and energy, and mainly focus on the base of pyramid. How we can get it? Sorry. Developing disruptive technology that can be patented, and with this difference that create the technology, we develop disruptive business models in order to achieve access for everybody in water and energy. Today, we are the company with the biggest number of patents in solar water heating in the world. And we have patents in US, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Peru, Bolivia, and Chile. Our background was Solecito. Solecito is a disruptive water solar water heater that besides is hybrid. It means that it can work mainly with the power of the sun, but if this solar radiation is not enough, we can use the electrical power from the grid or from a solar panel. And with that, we can get and achieve a net zero system that can accomplish with the certification Edge Advance of the World Bank. Today, Grupo 20 is one of the groups that is using this technology in order to achieve Edge Advance, and in this way they can get very interesting discounts in the interest rate of their financing. On the other side, and this is a video but cannot be played, Solecito is the most robust water solar heater in the world. And why? Because usually when you try to achieve to the communities solar technology, and it's the regular Chinese solar technology of heat pipes, the problem that has this kind of products is the fragility. And they broken in many times before to achieve to the destination. Solecito has been made in the outside part with polycarbonate Lexan that can resist a hurricane category 2. And with that, we can install it because it's very light, only weighs 9 kilograms in any place of Mexico. But this is not all the history. Why we are here? What we realized along these 14 years of the company history, along what we have achieved more than 150,000 end users that take a bath with our products daily basis, is that the energy is not only the problem that we are facing, it's the water. And in the water and in the storage of water, what we call here in Mexico tinacos, has not been any kind of innovation in the last 30 years. What happens if we can use a huge part of the IP that we develop with the patents of Solecito and can make a game-changer product with a fusion of tinaco, of a water tank, and a Solecito. And in this way, with just one product, solve both necessities, the water storage and the water heating with the sun. I introduce you SolePlus. SolePlus is a fusion of the technology of Solecito and the technology of a tinaco, of a water tank. What we have done is to change the shape of the tinaco in order to get solar radiation, and with this heat, using an effect called thermosiphon, we can storage all the water on the top of the tinaco. And with that, we can offer the two things. We can offer cold water on the down exit, and we can offer hot water on the up exit. What is our business model? We are going to generate a circular economy with the local manufacture of tinaco, because tinaco is a kind of product that cannot travel well because of the logistic cost. Then we are going to offer them to be a franchise with us, and we are going to give them the technology, that is the molds, and we are going to supply them the patented part, that is the domo on the top, that includes the royalty, and with that we are going to improve them, and we're going to empower them in order that the money that today is going to China to stay in Mexico, to generate more labor, more jobs, and to generate economies and savings on the customers of these kind of companies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andres. We now have another company in the biotech sector. Let's welcome Paulina Selena from Talaso.
Hello, everybody. I am Paulina Zanella. I am from Mexico, as she said. And, well, as a Mexican, I had the opportunity to experience the ocean for the first time in my life in a beach like this in the Mexican Caribbean. And of course, this is how I fell in love with the ocean. But unfortunately, and it really hurts my heart, it doesn't look like this anymore. It looks more like this. And this is happening in 48 countries today. This is what inspired us to create Talazo. Talazo is a Mexican-Norwegian corporation. We have a circular blue economy approach, and our main objective is to harvest and transform this seaweed into high-value ingredients. We're turning the problem into an opportunity through a network of micro-biorefineries that can transform this seaweed into these high-value ingredients that can improve the planet and people's health. So climate change caused this unprecedented blooming of sargasso. The calculation when I made this presentation was 40 million tons of the biomass. Latest calculation is 100 million tons of this seaweed drifting around the Atlantic and the Caribbean. And the problem is when it lands by the beach, as you saw in the picture, it starts decomposing and it releases gases and it leaks toxic liquids into the soil and is threatening economies, livelihoods, and ecosystems by destroying businesses, killing all marine life, and hurting deeply the health of coastal communities. But in Talazo, we believe that sargasso is actually the new Caribbean gold. So we developed a unique and revolutionary concept, this container-based modular microbiorefinery, where you can transform the seaweed into ingredients that are already used in several industries, including the bioplastic, agriculture, pharma, nutraceutical, functional food and feed, and they're literally everywhere. Everybody of you have been in touch with seaweed ingredients today without even noting. And well, the advantage of putting it in a container is you can build it faster, you can build it cheaper, and you put the refinery close to the biomass rather than transporting the biomass to the refinery, which has a high cost because you're transporting 90% water when you transport seaweed. So that's the logic behind it. And we're focusing on these three ingredients at the moment. So one is fucoidan, very powerful antiviral, antibacterial, antioxidant, anti-everything. And our amazing Brazilian team has tested it to treat cancer with amazing results. Then the alginate, which is broadly used in industries, but we are targeting it to bioplastic industry and biostimulants. The biostimulants, super interesting. By 2050, 50% of the crops will be threatened by drought and the excess of salinity in soil, and seaweed creates resilient crops to these conditions, so it's amazing. We are in conversation with big brands, small brands have LOIs in place. Great traction with the ingredients. This is a little bit how it looks right now. We started building the proof of concept. We're very excited to pilot it by the beginning of the next sargasso season. Seaweed industry is not new. It's very consolidated in Asia and in Europe. Asia today produces 99% of the biomass used for this industry. Sargasso has already surpassed the amount of the production of Asia. So if we don't see an opportunity here, I think we're missing out. We designed the refinery for Caribbean, but we get contact by seaweed farmers from all over the world to see if the biorefinery will be available for other countries. This is a little bit of the unit economics. It's very affordable to build one of these. You decentralize the production, and you can create a very healthy economy with only one of these modules. This is our projected growth, our amazing team from all over the world, combined experience from Brazil, Mexico, Norway. And yes, we're building the pilot refinery. We closed a pre-seed round with investors from US, Mexico, Norway, Panama, and UK. Today, looking for $1.5 million to operate this refinery, do the market launch of the ingredients, and continue with the R&D. So join us to improve the livelihoods and ecosystems of the Caribbean countries while developing a new economy based on the sustainability of marine resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. And we have one more company. Please welcome Fernando Ocaña from BEU from Mexico.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for staying awake for me. It's great to be here. Thank you so much to everyone. My name is Fernando Caña. I'm a mobility designer. In the past, I've worked for different car brands developing strategic innovation concepts, some of which have managed to create an impact on the current automotive landscape. And I'm now the founder of Veo, the world's most affordable and sustainable electric car subscription for drivers serving mobility platforms. So let's imagine you want to become an Uber driver. You'd have three traditional options. You can buy a car, usually through a bank loan. You can rent one from one of the many startups that have seen the opportunity to serve drivers who cannot access vehicle financing. Or you can take a job with a fleet owner who'll hire you to drive their cars. At Veo, we're pioneering a new business model that will make buying, renting, or in fact getting hired to drive a car a thing of the past. We call it the EV as a service model, as it enables drivers to pick up a car, use it to serve different mobility platforms, and make a living without ever having to worry about vehicle expenses again. It works by having a centralized fleet for drivers to pick up and drop off cars, and running a software platform on which you manage subscriptions, vehicle operations, and of course, income and payments from platforms that will be shared then with the drivers themselves. The model is pioneering, but I wouldn't call Veo an urban mobility revolution if we weren't actually solving the fundamental problem of ride-hailing. Because 80% of ride-hailing trips are shorter than 5 kilometers and serve only one passenger. In fact, 45% of trips in Mexico City begin and end within the same district. And yet, we're using 2-ton cars designed to carry entire families on high-speed, long-distance journeys. Think about it. We're driving tanks when we could be driving go-karts. This is a huge problem for drivers because cars will suck up 67% of their total revenue, leaving them with only a profit opportunity of 24%. As the CEO himself has recently said, imagine using lighter cars. What a great idea. If you can reduce the specs, you can reduce the costs. Backed by the government of Mexico City and with grants from MIT, from the Green Climate Fund, and from Germany's International Cooperation Agency, Veo is developing an ultra-lightweight and modular electric fleet that will reduce operation costs by 60% whilst increasing daily utilization rates by 30%. Our car, which you can see here in its first prototype version, will not only allow us to offer the same vehicle to multiple drivers per day, it will redefine the unit economics of an industry valued at $165 billion. This is, of course, beneficial to us, as we will take a 20% EBITDA on every trip completed by our fleet, but it is transformative for drivers because they will increase their net monthly income by 88%. This means 30 million drivers worldwide will be able to move from spending most of their income in cars to saving a ton of money by subscribing to hours. It also means that by doing so, they will reduce 65% of emissions compared to traditional petrol automobiles and reduce 43% of the energy consumption of comparable electric vehicles. Of course, Veo is not going to go about this huge and ambitious mission by itself. We're partnering with the world's leading electronics manufacturers who will produce and distribute our fleet at global scale. We're also building a strategic alliance with Mexico's leading bank who will on one hand hold property of the assets and lease them back to us as a service, and who will also provide third parties with financing for the launch and operation of franchised fleet hubs. This will reduce the liabilities associated with the physical assets in our ecosystem and hopefully make Veo the McDonald's of electric urban mobility. We're also partnering with the world's leading on-demand mobility platform on which from 2027, you will all be able to book your low-cost electric rides. Thank you so much.